began first with monitoring, and we monitored the creek 2 times a month for the first about 18 months, and then with review of the data we saw that we had an issue and that we really needed to go into some bacterial source tracking. So we put in a second proposal for bacterial source tracking to find out who were the contributors so that we could come up with some best management practices to alleviate the issue. We did that for another 18 months, and then we concluded with that and went into watershed protection plan, where we looked at the contributors being mostly wildlife, then human and 18%, and then some cattle, about 16%, livestock. So we knew that we could only manipulate a few things, and usually it's just in the livestock and what the humans do. So we did some best management practice research, and we came up with some practices that the stakeholders and landowners decided were the best. They chose them themselves and decided what would and would not work in this watershed. They've been working on that for about 2.5, 3 years now, and there has been a significant decrease in bacterial levels in the creek. When we began, the first few samples on the creek were over 12,000, and that's colony forming units per 100 milliliters of water. At this time, with a study I just did last week, the sampling came in at actually under 100 colony forming units per 100 milliliters of water. There's a drastic change and well within the legal limits. The bacterial impairment has been taken off, so Buck Creek is no longer listed by TCEQ for the Clean Rivers program as being bacterially impaired. And that was a win for the landowners and stakeholders, because they didn't have to give up the rights to use that water to water their livestock. If it wasn't for the landowners and the stakeholders taking this information that we have brought them and implementing it mostly of their own volition. Everything was voluntary. At no time was anybody coerced into anything. They all volunteered to do these practices. If it wasn't for them, we would have not had this significant of a drop in E. coli, and we would still have an impairment, which may have resulted in them losing the ability to graze near it and water from it. It was a win-win, and I'm really proud of them. That's a wrap.